Hi everyone, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. 100% a rant, this one, and it's all about you know who. Yes, I'm talking about the fucking hypocrite that is Rio Ferdinand. Hypocrisy, thy name is Ferdinand. That's right, Rio Ferdinand is out crying into his microphone about the state of Manchester United while we all watch it burn with popcorn and s'mores, laughing our balls off as other fans of football clubs who Manchester United mocked, scoffed at and laughed at when we were all going through our own misfortune. But Rio Ferdinand in particular, in terms of Newcastle United fans, is just a complete hypocrite. So if you cast your mind back to Rio Ferdinand talking about Newcastle United under Mike Ashley, when we were in the doldrums of the Ashley era, no investment, no communication, absolutely nothing whatsoever from the owners. This fucking wank was on BT Sport and he had the audacity, the arrogance to say that we should be thanking Mike Ashley. And at the time, Jake Humphrey, great presenter who's since left BT, which is now TNT Sports, Jake Humphrey pulled him and said they've only spent £6 million since they've come back up versus Brighton, Huddersfield, who were in the hundreds of millions. And this wanker said that why should he invest any money if he wants to sell the club? Now remember that before I talk about what he's whinging at now. So that's exactly what Rio Ferdinand said back then. This was Rio Ferdinand who was doing business with Mike Ashley in his own Sports Direct stores, selling his 5-brand clothing in Sports Direct, and this fucking arrogant bastard had the audacity to point the finger of blame at Newcastle United fans and say that we should thank this man for what he's done for Newcastle United. Nothing to do with the underinvestment, the disrespect, the mistreatment of our legends, all the stuff that went with it under the Ashley regime, the toxic, rancid Ashley regime that made loads of fans turn their back on the club and walk away. The whole footballing world laughed at us, pointed the finger, and nobody pointed harder and laughed louder than Manchester United fans. So do you know what? The fact that they're burning right now, I say fuck them and fuck Rio Ferdinand as well. But going back to what he's been saying now, Rio Ferdinand has turned around and he's been crying into his microphone, as I say, about the state of Manchester United and the Glazers in particular. And some of the irony, some of the hypocrisy oozing out of his face is just unbelievable. So he turned around and he actually said communication is vitally important to any football club. And this is the same guy who praised Mike Ashley for being a great businessman, as he said. Mike Ashley didn't speak to Newcastle United fans for months on end. Mike Ashley didn't even speak to his managers for months on end. Didn't talk about the club whatsoever. Came out and did some bullshit statement on Sky, who he was buddy with at the time. This is the same Mike Ashley this guy praised that he's denigrating the Glazers for. Hypocrisy right there. He's then turned around saying that it's a state that they don't love the club, it's just cold business, and I can't believe this. This is the same guy who praised Mike Ashley for exactly the same fucking operational structure at Newcastle United. It's rank hypocrisy, but because it's affecting his football club in the state of Manchester United, everybody should be getting their tissues out, crying their eyes out, hosting a telethon and buying Manchester United. That was another thing that this arrogant, self-serving gobshite said about Newcastle United fans. Listen, if you don't like it, raise your own money and buy the club from Mike Ashley. Ridiculous from Rio Ferdinand. He's just shown himself up right now to be a total impartial, arrogant, fucking self-serving wanker of a pundit, and I can't believe that he's even still in the media, let alone given a platform to spout this level of shit out for everybody to hear. It's absolutely grotesque, it really is, and Newcastle fans are rightly so pulling this prick for everything. Even other fan bases are pulling him for this. They all remember what he said about Newcastle United back then, so Rio Ferdinand can't escape that. When he was standing on the pitch for a Newcastle game recently, I think with Lindsay Hipgrave, who's a Newcastle fan, the whole crowd were chanting Rio Ferdinand is a wanker, because Newcastle fans won't forget this. I've seen Crystal Palace fans burying the bloke. I've seen other fans burying the bloke for his opinion on Mike Ashley. And now, because it's the Glazers, oh boo-hoo Rio Ferdinand and boo-hoo Manchester United. I've heard other idiots on TalkSport as well talking about how it's a disgrace that the Glazers are underinvesting in the ground and the ground's falling apart. St James's Park was rotten, falling to pieces when the new owners came in. There was a group of people went around looking at the lights were hanging out there. There was the TV was tiny at the bar, there was everything. There was such a state that Newcastle United was in St James's Park, and yet again this guy was praised for being a great businessman by people like Rio Ferdinand. So do you know what? I've got no sympathy for this prick whatsoever, or Manchester United right now. Like I say, they've been arrogant, they've sat on their throne for years, pointing their finger, laughing at everybody else. They're not even at the top table anymore. Manchester City's firmly there. The neighbours that they used to take the piss off for years, bought by rich owners, invested in properly, and they're right at the top of the football pyramid. Long may they reign, and fuck Man United, like I say. And Newcastle United are coming as well. We've got great owners now. who are investing in the club. We've got a young, bright, articulate manager. Even their managers as well, man. Look at the state of their managers as well. They've had big names and they've fucked them over. They've got this arrogant bastard in Ten Hag now who's struggling with the state of this project, and they all point the finger of blame at the Glazers. And maybe they are right to do that. But you know what? Like I say, reap what you sow and don't throw stones in glass bloody greenhouses, however the fuck that comment goes. Because that's what Rio Ferdinand's doing right now, and everyone rightly so. Dig up that old video, tag him in as many posts as you can, and tell him to suck on that. You reap what you sow, Rio. Welcome to the shit house. We were there for 15 years. We broke free, and we're now on Easy Street. So you enjoy the ceilings falling in, as you rightly took the piss out of when Newcastle United were in the same situation. So that's me done with my rant on that for the day. As I said, fuck Rio Ferdinand, fuck Manchester United. Long may this damning of the United continue. I'm enjoying watching it burn to the ground, which I'm sure most of the fans are as well. If this is the kind of thing you like, click subscribe, come and join us. Loads more rants here about football in general. Mostly Newcastle United talk, but there is the odd one like this that transcends football. I'll be back soon with another one. Have a cracking one. See you later. Cheers, bye.